not going to enjoy reading that. I don't do young adults. And I'll be like, yeah, you're going to read it. I'm like, no, you're not. But here I am enjoying this young adult series. Hi wonderful people, and welcome back to my channel, Bookkraves with Giselle. If it's your first time here, welcome. What's up with the scene? I hope you're doing well. Today's video is about books that I am going to read in August. Now usually I do a TBR of books to be read, but I know for a fact that I'm going to be reading these books in August because I'm going to stick to these books. If it's 5 books and I read only 5 books in August, it's going to be these 5 books. If I say I'm going to read something, I read exactly what is on my list and then I add additional books. But the last 2 months I have just been reading books from anywhere and not even focusing on my TBR, which is why I did not do a TBR video for June or July, but I'm like, Giselle, you know you're going to probably come back on and talk about these books, so you might as well let them know what you are going to read and maybe you could read along with me. Now some of these books are going to be released in August, so as soon as they're released, I'm going to get my hands on them if I don't get an advance copy of these books. But that's okay because I want to read these books. 2 of these books came out in July and 3 are coming out in August, and I cannot wait to read these books. They have been marked on my Goodreads want to read for a while now, and it's time to get reading. First up, it is Ruined Sinner, written by Becker. I have been following this series. I don't know if my video about this series is going to be posted before or after this video. If it's not, look out for it because I'm going to dive more into what the series is about. So Ruined Sinner is book 4 in the Hellfire Club series, and I have been loving this young adult romance. Like, I don't read young adults. I have become addicted to this particular series. I've become obsessed with this series. It is just so addictive. Like, you devour the stories. Like, I can't imagine if you had said last year, Giselle, you are going to enjoy reading this young adult. I'll be like, hell no, I'm not going to enjoy reading that. I don't do young adults. I'll be like, yeah, you're going to read it. I'm like, no, you're not. But here I am enjoying this young adult series. So Ruined Sinner, it is following Aurora and Phineas. So if you have read the series, you would know that something major happened between these two. Initially, from like book 1, Wicked Idol, you could tell that they were in a relationship and they broke up. And you just saw them having like different encounters, and now you get to find out what happened. Like, Phineas broke Aurora's heart, and I want to know what this guy did, because in book 3 Aurora did something so stupid. So stupid. I'm like, what could drive this young lady to do something like that? I'm like, Aurora girl, what are you doing? So now we are going to find out what happened between this couple. Aurora, she is a princess. We met her brother in book 2, Lennox in Carlos Prince, and all we know about Phineas is that he's a womanizer. He can't keep it in his pants. He's always with someone different. So now we're going to find out what this sinner did. So if you don't know anything about this story, basically the Hellfire Club, it is a group of the cruelest, richest boys in the school, and this club was basically founded to help to consolidate and forge alliances between these individuals so that they become more powerful and richer, and they also see like the next members of the club before they graduate high school. Phineas and Aurora, they are both in their final year. They are probably 18 because the other characters were 18. And yes, that is all I can tell you about Phineas and Aurora. All I know is that this girl is so broken-hearted. Let's go on to the next book. If you watched my wrap-up video, you would know that I read The Beast of Moscow, written by Bethany-Kris. And that book ended in a cliffhanger, and I cannot just not read book 2. I cannot not read part 2. The Lies Between Lovers. This was released in July. In book 1, we meet Vas and Vera. Vas is the head of the Russian mafia, and he's also plagued with really bad health issues. Vera, her dad is a New York mafia boss. She went to Russia at the age of 16 to become a ballerina. She loves to dance. However, at the peak of her career, she had an injury that left like her ankle shattered, and this impacted her both physically, mentally, and emotionally. And so she's dealing with these issues. Vas went to do some type of business where she dances, and he had one of his migraine spells, and they meet and they have this encounter where she helps him, and because of that he becomes like, you know, interested in her, wanting to know more about her, and starts to pursue her. Vas took her to Italy where he had some type of business with some other Italian organized crime family, and they went back to the US, and he's like, oh, he's going to marry her and all of these things, and she's like, no, that is not going to happen. And it's a real slow burn in book 1, and I'm hoping that in book 2 things seriously heat up, like it needs to. Like, you got a little taste of it, and the little taste that you got in book 1, it was hot. It was hot. That little teaser we got, it was so good. So I hope things really heat up between Vas and Vera. Another book that I'm definitely going to read in August is Till It Hurts by Cora. Brent. This is a best friend romance. It's also a second chance romance, and it is definitely a standalone. I tend to read a lot of series or duets, but this one is a complete standalone. And from what I gathered from the blurb, it's that you meet Jace. Jace is basically the heroine's best friend, and he lives next door. He's also an athlete, and like he disappears for 10 years and then he returns. But the heroine didn't realize that she was in love with this individual, that she was in love with Jace. I absolutely love second chances. I don't know, they're just like so heartwarming and so touching and so emotional that, you know, people have to deal with all the emotional drama from things that happened years ago and sort of their misunderstanding and everything that happened. I just absolutely love that. I love when you see people just reconnect and fall back in love. You just get that in a second romance, a second chance romance, and I think that's why I really love to read this trope and to know it's like your brother's best friend. I love to read those stories as well. Next up, again, if you read my wrap-up video, you would know that I read Savage, book 1 in the Savage Falls Sinner MC series, and it's written by Caitlyn. Sorry, in book 1, I read the first installment. It is a reverse harem, and there we met Sadie, Rex, Dean, and Wesley. And now in book 2, Sacrifice, we meet them again. Book 1 ended on a cliffhanger, and book 2, we will see how it goes. Sadie has a relationship with all 3 of these guys, and she gets something different from each of them. So from Rex, she gets a challenge. He is definitely controlling, protective, has that type of I like you, but he doesn't show it. He's just like all hardcore, takes what he wants and leaves. And then you meet Dean. Dean has always loved Sadie. He just didn't have the balls to go up against the MC for it because Sadie is the MC princess, and then you have West. West really provides her comfort, like she feels that she can share things with him, and he gets it because he has his own challenges in his own personal life and within his household. His dad hates the MC, hates the savage, foul sinners, and abuses his mom, so he's dealing with a lot in his life, and so you get different things. I am enjoying this series thus far, so I enjoyed book 1, and I'm hoping I enjoy book 2 as well, and I don't get turned off, because when I read book 1 I did not realize that it was a reverse harem. Had no clue, and then I'm like, okay, it just slid in, one part slid in, and then another part, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what we're reading, like, and then yeah, and just everything came full circle. So I'm like, this is what we're reading. I'm like, yeah, Giselle, this is what we're reading, girl. So yes, so I'm really excited to read this one. And then the last one, or the last book that I want to read, is Vow to Protect, and it is written by L.J. Beck and Monica Corwin. This is a dark mafia romance. You know I must read a mafia. At least one book for the month. Must read at least one. So it is a dark romance, forced marriage romance. So obviously with a mafia book, it's expected to be dark. However, not all of them are dark. I'm hoping that this one is just the right amount of darkness that I need in my life. And it's a forced marriage. It is a duet, and it is being released on August 13th. So no, once it's in my library, I am going to read it. From what I've gathered from reading the book, it's that the head of a crime family, he is deadly, he is ruthless, he's murderous, you know, he's all that delicious goodness that you'd expect in the head of a mafia family. His rival mafia family, their head died, and now he's in need of a wife, and he's thinking, well, since the head of that family is long gone and his daughter Valentina is such a temptress, why not marry her, make her become my wife? And I guess that's where you have the forced marriage, because she's probably going to need some type of protection. Honestly, I don't know. I read the blurb and it just really interests me. It's like something right up my alley, something that I would definitely love reading. So I'm definitely excited to read that one. This brings me to the end of my TBR / books I want to read in August. It wasn't long and extensive as I usually make my TBR list, and it's because I know I'm going to read other books. So why do that to myself, and why do that to you? Because I know when you watch this video, you are expecting me to come back with some type of review on the books that I've read in August, so you would know if to read it. So I don't want to disappoint any of my subbies, so this is why I am limiting myself, giving myself goals. I don't want to disappoint you, so we're keeping it to number 5. And these are the ones that I absolutely really want to read. And if I read anything else, I will definitely come back on and let you know. If you want to know what I'm reading when I'm reading it, check my Goodreads or follow me on Goodreads. I also post my reviews immediately once I'm finished reading a book. So you can definitely check out my reviews there before I come on here on BookTube and share those reviews with you. You can also follow me on my other social media accounts. On Facebook, it's Bookkraves, as well as Instagram, Bookkraves. I'll leave the links down below in the description box. If you plan to read any of these books and it was on your TBR, let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure and like my video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you would know when I post a video. And you know what to do. Look out until I post another video.